Political party members, including those from the DA, ACDP, Patriotic Alliance and Good Party, have reportedly recently travelled to Israel on a fact-finding mission. The group, which includes some Government of National Unity MPs, is said to have travelled through an organisation called South African Friends of Israel. Now, they claim the visit confirmed there is no evidence of apartheid in Israel. The trip comes as South Africa continues to pursue its genocide cause against Israel at the International Court of Justice. It also follows the National Assembly's adoption of a motion amended by the ANC in November last year, calling for the closure of the Israeli embassy and the suspension of all diplomatic ties. Now, let's get some details on the supposed mission now with Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader and MMC for Transport in the city of Johannesburg, Kunene. Kunene, thank you for your time and for joining us this morning. So the Good Party describes this trip as a secret frolic to Israel. The Daily Maverick reported that these MPs that were there on behalf of the Patriotic Alliance went on both yours and the party leader's Gayton McKenzie's approval. Were your MPs there on behalf of the PA?
Thank you very much for having us, Oscar Tleho. Let me start with Brett of the Good Party. Since Brett has not been a member of parliament, he has been sitting at home very bored. As you would know, that Good got only one seat. There was no secret about this trip. You would have seen that Ashley Sauls, the Honorable Ashley Sauls, Member of Parliament, did post on Facebook, and that's where Brett got to see this, that PA members are in Israel. So it was not a secret. I don't know when he says he discovered a secret trip. Does he discover things on Facebook, which is a public space? That's the first one. There was nothing secret about this trip. Number two, yes, indeed, our members got the thumbs up from the Patriotic Alliance leader, myself and the NEC, to go to Israel on that fact-finding mission. This follows up our trip led by Gayton McKenzie, myself, the Secretary General and other NEC members when we went to Israel in July of 2023 on a fact-finding mission. There's been developments in the region, and the two leaders were then allowed to be part of this trip organized by South African Friends of Israel.
So maybe just to correct there in my intro, I mentioned that the Good Party was on the trip. In fact, like you're mentioning, that the Good Party is the one that had brought this to the fore and were not on that mission. Maybe, Kenny, let's just speak about the separation of powers, because the Patriotic Alliance is a part of the Government of National Unity. As I mentioned, in November last year, Parliament adopted a motion that South Africa would suspend all diplomatic relations with Israel should a ceasefire be agreed to. 248 of those votes to 91 set that motion, that motion in pass. What was the PA's position with regards to that particular motion?
Our position has been very clear that you cannot fix the situation in Israel and Palestine by removing the embassy of Israel. We are totally against it. And in the event in 2029, Gayton McKenzie becomes the president of this country, we will make sure that the embassy of Israel in South Africa is strengthened, and the embassy of South Africa to Israel is also strengthened. We as South Africans cannot take sides on this particular matter. We must encourage both the parties to work together, to coexist, because we are an example of that coexistence. We are living with our former colonizers. We have, through the leadership of President Nelson Mandela, went through a process of reconciliation. That's what we must encourage as government and as a nation, for Israel and the Palestinians to find each other, to coexist, to reconcile, and live together in peace. the same way we have done with our former colonizers, with the architects of apartheid who have murdered our people, who have brutally killed innocent children, mothers and fathers in our country and in other countries where we were preparing for military action. We have abandoned that military action. All the organizations abandoned that military action, and we went to a peace table. And that's what we must encourage instead of encouraging these divisions in Israel and Palestine.
I mean, you mentioned not taking sides, but South Africa has taken a position with regards to the Israeli and Gaza Strip war. I mean, being an MP versus being your position within a party, surely you were there representing the country and not just your constituency. Where does one draw the line when you're then able to take on this trip, which you're mentioning is a follow-up to a trip that was taken before, when it seems as though a side had been taken prior?
When we were in Israel, we tried to go into Palestine. Myself and one of the leaders, we were violently stopped by the Israeli police, by the Palestinian police. Very, very brutal. And when you look at this delegation that went now, they had an Israeli guide, a Jewish guide that was taking them through. And when they got to the Gaza border and they wanted to go into the Palestine, number one, they had to change the guide from a Jewish guide to a Palestinian guide, because the Jewish guide said they are not accepted in Palestine. Still being with the Palestinian guide, the police at that Gaza border were very arrogant, rude towards this delegation. And the Palestinian guide had to explain, and they could see that he was finding it difficult to make them understand that this is a delegation from South Africa that is coming here to listen to the Palestinians. You would see pictures of them in the background, Palestinian flags, where they were at a peace building there in Palestine. So the fact-finding mission did not just focus on Israel. They also went into the Gaza. They interacted with Palestinians. Unfortunately, Hamas and the Palestinians, in fact, the leadership in Palestine is not making it easy for those who want to hear their side of the story to be able to do that. But fortunately, through the perseverance of this Palestinian guide, who deemed it necessary for this delegation to go into Palestine, they were able to be allowed into Palestine, and they were able to interact with the Palestinians. So they understand both sides of the story. And most of the Palestinians are saying, we are tired of the war. We want peace and coexistence. In fact, the Israeli people are saying, we are tired of the war. We want peace and coexistence. So that is the view that they have from those interactions in both areas of the region. So it is not a one-sided issue. When PA say we are friends of Israel, yes, we are friends of Israel. But it doesn't mean that we hate the Palestinians. We understand their cause, but we have gone there. And the Israeli have afforded us an opportunity to hear them. President Herzog, His Excellency, met with us. And even this delegation, President Herzog made time to meet with this delegation and put the position of Israel on the table. So we will not abandon our relationship with Israel. We are friends of Israel. We advocate for peace. We advocate for coexistence. As I said, that South Africans are an example of such coexistence.
The ANC strongly rejects what they call the false and misleading claims made by that delegation that came back saying that no evidence of apartheid was found in Israel. Have you received a report from your MPs? What was the outcome that they found?
They found what we also found. There's no apartheid. Apartheid in South Africa was very clear. You don't use the same toilets. You don't go to the same restaurants. You don't climb the same, you don't get onto the same buses. There were signs that were clear that a black person can't come here, can't go there. It's only white people that must go there. There's no such signs in Israel. We use the same toilets. We go everywhere. Jews, Palestinians, and foreigners. That's why we say we did not experience. We know apartheid better than those who are talking about apartheid. So I don't understand when any South African says there's apartheid in Israel, what do they mean? In fact, the Palestinians go into Israel as they wish, but the Israeli can't go into Palestine as they wish. So if you are going to talk about apartheid, then it will be apartheid that is on the side of Palestine. I've just mentioned that the delegation had to change a guide from a Jewish guide to a Palestinian guide, because even the Palestinian guides and Jewish guides understand that the Jewish guides are not allowed in Palestine, yet the Palestinian guides are in Israel, and that is where the exchange happens. So we did not experience any apartheid. We did not experience any discrimination of any person whatsoever. When you go to Jerusalem, you find that the Palestinians are operating on one side of the building, the Israeli are operating on the other side. They are working together in the stalls, servicing foreigners, Palestinians, and Israeli people alike. So from a point of view of apartheid, you would have seen a different picture. So the delegation has confirmed what we confirmed, what we said in July 2023. We did not see any signs of apartheid in Israel.
And in future, would there be any more delegations possibly trying to go to Palestine? I mean, you mentioned that you're not taking sides as the Patriotic Alliance, but you boldly do say that you are friends of Israel. It doesn't seem as though in your tone you're just as much as friends of Palestine.
No. Any political party can have its position. We don't write statements when the ANC is interacting with Iran. Although we disagree with how Iran operates. You didn't see us write a statement when the ANC hosted Hamas that murdered innocent people, civilians, young people at a fun place where there was a concert, and they took advantage and murdered unarmed young people. Men and women. We didn't write statements when the ANC hosted this terrorist organization Hamas in our country, because we understand that each political party, be it in the GNU, be it in the GLU or otherwise, they have their own policy positions and their own foreign policies. We differ with them, but we understand that we have an obligation to serve South Africans. And South Africans have given a mandate through their vote for us to serve them in a coalition. But yes, we remain friends of Israel, unapologetically so. The ANC would favor the Palestinians, but we will continue engaging the ANC to reconsider its position on the Israeli embassy here in South Africa. Now that we are part of the GNU, we will continue to persuade everyone to preach one message of peace and coexistence in that particular region.
All right, Kunene, thank you so much for your time this morning. That was Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kunene.